goes without saying that a knife attack is extremely dangerous. And there are many important factors. The attacker, does the attacker know how to use that knife, know where to cut and whatever? Does that attacker carry that knife? Yes, does he carry the knife round with him and knows what he's doing? So a very dangerous situation. Can also have this kind of business. Which side is it coming from? This. Much more difficult to handle than the likes of if you're in a restaurant or whatever and there's a fracas and this fellow grabs the knife and comes lunging at you wildly. That's much easier to control. Not much easier, different situation. That's a different situation. We're not going to do knife attack. We're going to spend a little bit of time on the situation where we're threatened. Not attacked, but threatened. And it's a totally different situation. No problem. We can catch it before it starts to drop. Right, no problem. Because I know exactly, because I'm dropping it, I know the instant I'm going to release my grip on it so it can be caught before it starts to drop. But what a totally different situation it is if somebody else is dropping it. Then we have the time factor, I refer to as the time factor. Okay, so you catch it before it hits the bottom. Much more difficult, yes. So, this is the time factor. How, as in H-A-L, how, or not hello, not how. In this case now, you, as I say, can't move or do not move until you realize I've released it, isn't it? So here we have this time factor. So the same thing applies. So you're holding this. This is the knife to my throat, and you're wanting my money. Now you wouldn't be like this, expecting me to do something. You'd be, the knife is at my throat, you're saying, come on, and I'll take that nice Rolex watch you're wearing too. The shoes look pretty good as well, let's have those. So, what's good about this, you can test whether you get your throat slit or not. So how, if you realize I'm going to move, do that. Okay, and I will be dead. So you're asking for the money, and I'm saying, oh please! Okay? So you're asking again, so, oh please, oh no, please don't hit me, I've found smash one. So what we're going to do is hold the knife there, and if the person is not quick enough, do that. That means you're dead, mate. Yes? And it's good that we can test reactions here. So, your turn. Come on, let's have this money here. So, come on, give us some money. Ooh. No. Slow motion, slowly. These come up at exactly the same time. And of course, don't make the foolish mistake and go, of course. So make sure you go that way and not that way. But it's there at the same time there. And if you're relaxed, you can move very quickly. Watch a moment, standing there. Watch carefully. Watch carefully. How many times did I attack? 3 times. So if you're nice and relaxed, you will move very quick. So it should be no problem. We have the time factor, which we pointed out when we were dropping it. But slow motion, there, clear, both hands. Up, not 1, 2, you're dead. 1, through, rokyo, break, rokyo. Here, break very easily. But anyway, at the moment, just try to clear. Don't worry about any technique. So all you're doing at the moment is clearing. That's all. This is say if your opponent doesn't move fast enough, you're dead. Any questions? Everybody know what they're doing, so that's all we're doing. Yes, please. Yes. All over your faces, that I'm seeing this, you're building up to it, sort of. This is suicidal. So, in fact, you could, please don't let me, please let me give you the mark. This. Okay, so it must not be, when should I do it? Okay. No idea. Please don't. I'll give you whatever I've got. Please. Yes. Okay? Slowly first. So it's here. It's well clean. And I would like to also wham here. Down. This is rokyo. Okay? Yep. Important with rokyo, unlike if we have judoka here, it's not a straight armor. You can, if you wish, use a straight armor. And I think if it were a man mountain, we don't have women mountains, do we? A man mountain, I think I would sacrifice one and come down with it. Yes, to make sure if somebody's absolutely very powerful. But this is a straight armor here. But of course, rokyo is not. Rokyo is turning that direction and moving, and it's all in the hips. Dangerous technique. Ismoro Rishima Sensei used to do this very effectively. I always used to be a little bit nervous with this one, because if you're a little late, it's from this side, you see this, it's here. So, can be a dangerous technique. Anyway, once more, we clear, wow. We come back, it can be straight down, or it can be rokyo. As coming back, can be wow, here. Anywhere around the head is very painful. It doesn't need much. It's because it's skin on bone. It's skin. So fat acts as a cushion. Fat cushions the punch. This. That's why I walk around with this cushion. Yes? Fat cushions. But anywhere around the head, anywhere. The head, where there's just skin over it's extremely painful. Here is devastating. Just give yourselves, do that, and give yourselves a little tap below the eye on this cheekbone here. It really is very, very nasty. It's very nasty. Of course, here, the backs of the hands, shins and feet. So if you've got to this position even from here, doesn't do any good, or do that doesn't any good. Yes, okay. So we have a total reverse situation of the person that's being threatened becomes the aggressor, isn't it? It's completely changes because the person who's threatening is not, it's not an attack. Yes. And generally speaking, that person does not want to injure you, to stab you. He doesn't want to stab you, or she. But wants your money, or whatever, you know, watch or rings, or whatever. So it's a switch. You change, you become the aggressor. Next one, it could be here. These are a bit too long actually, but in the stomach. So again, it's, come on, let's have a look. And again, yes, please. Now, this time, because it's this level, we come from underneath because of the level here. In this situation, we come here. And again, we clear this. We clear, and it can be shielded. Now, here it comes in nicely. Here. Clear. Could be. Well. Feel comfortable with. This would be practicing anyway. Clear. Wow. And also be here and it's there. Sankyo. Shihunage, Sankyo, whichever you feel is more suitable to you. Slowly first, but first of all, practice for a few minutes whether you would get away with it. If I'm not fast enough, Michael gives me a little poke there in the stomach, there, if I don't clear. If I tell you that, then I'm dead. So just check. The good thing about this, you can actually check whether you get away with it or not, whether the person would have a chance to stab you. So if it's, you know, so again, it's one. It's one. It's not 1, 2. It's one. Please, please, please. Yes. Alternatives and what you felt comfortable with. Yes. Big, powerful. I don't think would come here and to here. I would not do these. He's a big, powerful fellow. Yes. I think I would just from and here. This and break there. So something much more direct. So you were asking how do I get into Sankyo? Yes, but as far as well, with Sankyo, it's Uchi from here, the Kaiten, and from there. But from here, if somebody that's very much bigger than yourself can get a struggle. Don't forget, there's that there as well. This. Okay, I'm so tired I'll be able to get to it. Whatever. Yes. Tohei's as Takiguchi Sensei has probably told you, but is I'm sure well aware of course, that Tohei Sensei was made an honorary captain, wasn't he, in the Hawaiian police force. And I think there's that famous photograph into one of Tohei Sensei's books where he's sitting in center place, isn't he? The chief, I think, of police, one side of him, and Tohei sitting there, which many of you will probably see. This being threatened, Tohei Sensei taught us this. And apparently he was so confident when he was in Hawaii, he was so confident that he was asked on a number of occasions, you know, using a gun, which they did, but with blanks, you know, so to see if they could get a shot off. And Tohei Sensei apparently wanted them to put real bullets in the gun. Supposedly, this, but I've heard this story on many occasions. But it's exactly the same thing. It's no difference to clear, you know, whether it would be a knife or a gun. It's just, you can be just as fast or just as slow. A couple more minutes. But do whatever you feel most comfortable at. Remember, as we said before, anywhere around the head, strike here is extremely painful. This is not going to knock somebody out, but it gives you a breathing space. It gives you a few minutes. Under here is devastating here. As far as the nose can very easily be broken, which we're not going to do. But here we'll use this, but from here, this would be enough to break the nose. This is especially used in Tai Chi. This from the center, this is very powerful, so it can be, the nose can be easily enough broken. Placed here, and if you drive through, you can very easily break the nose. A couple more minutes. Don't break noses. It's this we got. Coaches. Yeah, okay, all right, let's have it. I want to come out this side. If I do come out this side, then it can be or whatever. Now, before anybody asks and says, how would you know which side to come out? I think I would know. I mean, for example, oh please, that's all I need. I know, unless he did a switch, which would be unlikely. But please, I've seen. Of course we don't go like this, naturally. So what is so important is these come round together at the same time to clear. So by the time that's there, that is there. Most important, not because he's not going to stay there. He kills me. So not 1, 2. You're free to attack. So 1. You can just relax and just do that. You can just do that. There. So it must be there. Yeah, see the one. First of all, practice, see if you can clear. Of course, if your opponent doesn't move quickly enough, again, a little bit of a poke in the back. Let them know you're dead. Yes, so practice that a few times, you get the feeling. And then when you're attempting cultivation, most important, don't forget, they open round at exactly the same time. Not 1, 2, 1. Sing through the mat. No, don't be that. No, don't pull them in. No, don't pull them in. But let them just there. No, more relaxed. Oh, that's your own say, you know, if you have shoulder or I do have about 1 second. Not this. smell how clean they are.
Oh yes, right.
Isn't that good?
Oh yeah.
Right on. And I move right through, move you, keep this taut, you taut, I say that, right through to the toes. Sleep yet?
Just about.
Right. You know, we don't have to run off the strike of four. This will only take 3 minutes or so, but I think you may have heard this before, but I think it's a very, very good example of the power that the mind has over the body. The scenario is, we'll call this young couple Mr. and Mrs. Jones. They're very much in love, all lovey-dovey, as you all are with your wives, I'm sure. And they've only been married a few weeks, and every morning she's up at the strike of dawn and preparing a breakfast for him, as your wives do. And then as you're leaving, she says goodbye and kisses him goodbye and hands him his briefcase, as all your wives do. And then she opens the door and she waits till he over a silly little thing, like the butter is unspreadable or something, you know, because of having been refrigerated, and he gets annoyed and they have their first argument. And so she's sulky about it, and when he gets to go out, she doesn't hand the briefcase, and he goes to kiss her goodbye, and she turns her head away, and he, as he walks out, she slams the door behind him. And then she reflects on what's happened, and it's said that the best part of falling out is making up. And so she's looking forward to him coming home. She's going to give him a big hug and throw her arms around him, as your wives do each night when you return home. And she thinks too, I'll prepare this special dish for him. And everything's selected, his favourite music is there in the machine, and his favourite wine, and she's even put candles on the table. She thinks she's running around, oh, he'll be here any moment. She wants everything to be perfect. And suddenly the doorbell is rung, and she thinks, oh, he must have forgotten his key. So she runs to the door, waiting to throw her arms, but as she opens the door, there are 2 policemen there. And they say, Mrs. Jones? Yes, may we come in? Oh, please, come in. Now, really, the bearers of bad tidings and that, of course, they should have asked her, are you here by yourself or so? And if yes, then would you care to sit down? But as happened in my own family, tragically, many, many years ago, my mother was alone in the house when this policewoman came and said, your daughter was killed at 9:20 this evening by a car, and my mother just went boom and fell flat on her back in the hall. So these things can happen, and happened in my family. So anyway, they say, Mrs. Jones, we're very sorry to have to tell you that your husband was killed on the way on returning home this evening in a fatal road accident. He was killed at 5:20 or so. Now it would be understandable, quite understandable, for Mrs. Jones's legs to buckle and for her to fall to the ground. It would even be almost expected. And say, for example, they just managed to support her, to grab her before she hits the ground, and they help her across to the sofa, put her down. Now, supposing we were to say to Mrs. Jones, of course we wouldn't, but supposing this, the whole exercise of this is to show the power the mind has over the body. Supposing we were to say, when you were given the tragic news, why did you fall to the ground? And what do you think Mrs. Jones would say? Why did you fall to the ground? What do you think maybe she would answer? Pardon? Well, I felt sad, but why did she actually fall to the ground? What would she probably say?
Shock. She didn't expect it.
Yeah, well, yes, it's the shock, but I'm wanting, don't think too, that what do you think she may say? About her legs? What would she maybe say about her legs?
He wouldn't hold her up.
Thank you. She would probably, yes, we know it's the shock to the body, but she may very well say, well, my legs became weak, or my legs would not support me. Stephen, were her legs weak? Of course not. How can her legs be weak? They are the same two legs that 2 minutes earlier she was running around the house. So how can those legs not support the weight of her body? I mean, when you think of it, it's ridiculous to actually, that her legs were weak, they were not strong enough to support her body. Legs cannot become weak in 2 minutes. It's what happened here, isn't it? This is what happened as Rob, your name, Will. Yes, Will. Oh, well, I was dating that. I prefer to call you Bob. If you're here tomorrow, you're Bob. Okay?
That's all right.
It's nice. Anyway, it's the same tissue and the same muscle and the same thickness and that. And I'm not a medical man. Maybe we have somebody here that could give a much better explanation than I can, but probably the over-release of adrenaline into the system and whatever and cause this shock reaction. But it was what happened here. It's not what happened to the legs. It wasn't the legs, that became weak that made her fall to the ground. It was what was activated here. And I think that is quite a good example of what the power of the mind has over our bodies, which we can all relate to. It's not, technical and mysterious and everything else, what exactly happened is. But I tell this story at times, and I think it's a good one too for us, because in Aikido, of course, we're always stressing it's mind over the essence, the mind that totally controls the mind. Any questions? Sensei. Yes. Where is Sakamoto Sensei? Yes. Sakamoto Sensei, would you like to come, please? In fact, would you care to sit with Sensei, please? Thank you.
Right? Right?